beginning, there was nothing but night, just a whisper of wind and the hush of the skies. But the voice of the Maker broke through the dark and said, "Let there be light," and lit up the stars. He painted the heavens and poured out the seas, drew the curve of the mountains and shaded the trees. With the breath of His word, the wild came to life, and He smiled at the world, said, "It is right." Oh, I see His hand in the sunrise glow, in rivers that run and the flowers that grow. From dust to man, with love He planned every heart, every breath, every grain of sand. We were born in His dream, in a garden so clean. In the beginning, He saw you and me. He molded the man from the clay of the ground, gave him His spirit without a sound. Then from His side, the woman was made to walk there together in cool evening shade. He gave them the garden, the fruit and the stream, the peace of the earth and the joy of the green. With just one command in that sacred land, to trust in my love and the work of my hand. Oh, I see His hand in the sunrise glow, in rivers that run and the flowers that grow. From dust to man, with love He planned every heart, every breath, every grain of sand. We were born in His dream, in a garden so clean. Well, in the beginning, He saw you and me. So when I feel lost in the noise of the world, I think of that garden, untouched and pure. And I know that His voice still calls my name, the same one who lit up the stars in the flame. In the beginning, He saw you and me. Through the garden, and hand in hand, with nothing but sunlight and soft golden sand. No shame in our voices, no fear in our eyes, just the sound of His footsteps when evening arrived. There stood the tree in the heart of the land. He told us it's not yours to take in your hand. But the serpent, he whispered a beautiful lie, and we tasted the fruit with the stars in the sky. And the wind turned cold, the sky turned gray. We tried to hide, but we couldn't run away. What once was whole began to fall in the silence that followed His final call. We lost it all in the garden so tall, in the garden and the fall. leaves on our backs and dust on our skin. He looked in our hearts, saw the shadow of sin. He wept with a love we had thrown away, but still gave a promise that light would someday. He cursed the ground, but spared our breath, clothed us in mercy, though we earned death. He closed the gate with a flaming sword, but grace lingered still in the broken world. And the wind turned cold, and the sky turned gray. We tried to hide, but we couldn't run away. What once was hope began to fall in the silence that followed his final call. We lost it all in the garden so tall, in the garden and the fall. Still I dream of Eden, where peace once grew, where the world was young and the sky was blue. And I believe there's a road that winds back to his heart through love divine. We lost it there, but he never let go, in the garden long ago. He was my brother, born of the same dust, raised by the fire in fields we could trust. Side by side in the land of the dawn, something inside me had started to roam. He brought his lamb, I brought my grain, but the fire from heaven never touched my name. Jealousy burns like a cold desert flame, and my pride was a weight I refused to tame. Well, now the ground cries out from the blood I spilled, a voice in the soil that won't stay still. No place to run, no place to hide, I bear this mark on the other side. Oh Lord, what have I done to your love? I am the one with my brother's blood. We stood in the field, the wind in our hair. He smiled so kind, he was never aware. Then anger rose like a thundercloud, and silence fell without a sound. He hit the ground, and I stood still. The echo of guilt, I can hear it still. No sword, no war, just broken trust. A heart turned cold and swallowed by dust. Well, now the ground cries out from the blood I spilled, a voice in the soil that won't stay still. No place to run, no place to hide, I bear this mark on the other side. Oh Lord, what have I done to your love? I am the one with my brother's blood. And he said, when couldn't speak, I just turned and run. But even east of Eden's gate, His mercy walked beside my fate. I carry the curse and a hope still alive, that someday this sinner might survive. But I'll never forget what I've become, the man who shed his brother's blood. Now the ground cries out from the blood I spilled. The world grew wild, full of voices of hate. Every man for himself, every heart full of weight. But one man stood with a hammer and faith, building a promise to ride through the rain. They laughed at the boat on the dry, cracked land, called him a fool with a trembling hand. But Noah just worked with the sky growing dim, for the voice of the Lord had spoken to him. And when the water came, it came like a cry, tearing the earth from under the sky. But inside the wood, by mercy framed, a family prayed when the thunder came. 40 days in a world in pain, we were saved when the water came. The animals walked in 2 by 2, like echoes of Eden in something new. And the door was closed by a hand unseen, as heaven poured down on every dream. Mountains sank and cities broke, but the ark rode high through the judgment smoke. And in the dark, no stars, no flame, just the heartbeat of hope in a world full of rain. And when the water came, it came like a cry, tearing the earth from under the sky. But inside the wood, by mercy framed, a family prayed when the thunder came. 40 days in a world in pain, we were saved when the water came. Then one bright morning, the raven flew, and the dove brought back a branch in dew. A rainbow burned across the gray, and God said this promise will stay. So when the flood comes in your soul someday, hold fast to the wood, don't drift away, for grace still sails through every flame, just like the day when the water came. He left his home with no map in hand, just a whisper from God and the dust of the land. Go to a place that I'll show in time. So he followed the call with faith in the climb. The stars came out as he pitched his tent, with the wind in his beard and his strength near spent. But each night he'd look up at heaven's wide span and remember the promise from the voice of I am. You'll be the father of nations to come, with children that rise like the light of the sun. Look to the sky, try to count with your hand. Your seed will be stars, your son's like the sand. Even when you don't understand, hold on to stars and the sand. Years rolled by and the cradle stayed dry, but still he believed, though his body asked why. Sarah would laugh, but the angels would say, a child will be born by the Lord's own way. He built up altars, he bowed on his knees, through famine and fear, through long empty seas. And God cut a covenant deep in the land, sealed in the dust by his own hand. You'll be the father of nations to come, with children that rise like the light of the sun. Look to the sky, try to count with your hand. Your seed will be stars, your son's like the sand. Even when you don't understand, hold on to stars and the sand. So when your faith feels worn and thin, remember how it all begins, with one man's yes to a voice so grand, and a sky full of stars, and a dream in the sand. He called him friend, he called him true, the God who makes old hearts new. So I'll believe and I'll still stand on the stars and the sand. He called me one morning with fire in his voice, said, take your son, your only boy, and walk to the place where the shadows climb. Lay him down at the edge of time. I saddled the donkey with hands that shook, carried the wood, couldn't bear to look. And Isaac walked with his eyes so bright, asking, Father, where is the sacrifice? And I said, the Lord will provide, though my soul was breaking on the inside. With every step my heart did pound, to the test on the mountain, holy ground. Faith in the silence, love unbound, the test on the mountain. the altar, stone by stone, and I laid him there, my flesh and bone. The knife rose high in the morning air. A father's cry became a prayer. Then a voice like thunder broke through the sky. Do not lay a hand, your faith is tried. And in the thicket a ram appeared, a gift of mercy, heaven drawn near. And I said, the Lord did provide, as I wept with my boy safe by my side. The fire burned and the heavens bowed on the test on the mountain, sacred ground, where grace and glory both were found. The test on the mountain. Sometimes the journey breaks your will, but faith is forged when time stands still. He never asks what he won't repay, and he'll walk with you the hardest way. So when you climb with trembling breath, no love walks even unto death. He is the Lamb, forever crowned, who passed the test on the mountain. He crossed the river all alone that night, with a trembling soul and a heart mid-fight. His past behind, his brother ahead, but the war inside was what he most dread. Then out from the dark came a shadowed form, silent as wind, but strong as a storm. No name was given, no word was said, just the clash of will where angels tread. And he wrestled till the break of day with a stranger who would not walk away. Every wound, every lie, every fear he'd known at the hand of heaven when he was alone. And the fight was fierce and the night was long, with the wrestling stranger till he belonged. They rolled in the dust, they strained and groaned, till the man touched his hip and broke the bone. But still Jacob held with a grip like fire. I won't let go till you lift me higher. Then the stranger smiled through the rising light. You fought with God and you've held on tight. Your name is no longer the man you've been. You're Israel now, for you've wrestled and you win. And he wrestled till the break of day with a stranger who would not walk away. Every scar was a prayer, every tear a song, in the grip of mercy where the weak grow strong. Though he limped, he walked where he belonged, with a wrestling stranger all along. Sometimes the Lord will meet you in the fight, not to crush you, but to bring you to the light. And when you lose yet still hold tight, you rise with a new name by morning light. So when the struggle won't let go, remember Jacob by the river's flow. He found his purpose in the grip of pain, with a wrestling stranger in the rain. was 17, with a shepherd's hand, youngest of the sons in a desert land. But he dreamed in colors none could see, of sheaves that bowed and stars set free. He told his brothers what he saw at night: a crown of favor, a robe of light. But jealousy burns where pride is fed, and love turns cold when envy's bred. Paul Joseph dreamed of skies so wide, of a future carved by heaven's guide. But the road ahead would twist and turn, before the throne the pit must burn. Still he held to what was shown in Joseph's dream when he was alone. They tore his robe, threw him low, sold him off to chains and woe. A father wept with ashes gray, not knowing dreams don't die, they wait. Down in Egypt the vision stayed, though prison walls and trials wait. But favor clings where truth won't bend, and dreams survive what others end. Paul Joseph dreamed of skies so wide, of a promise time could not divide. Even when the night seemed long, he believed that dreams live on. Through betrayal, through the unknown, he still believed in Joseph's dream alone. Sometimes the dream breaks before it grows, buried deep where no one knows. The seeds of heaven bloom in dust when held by hands that know to trust. So hold the dream, though the night may scream. It's not the end, it's just the stream. And in the silence, God redeems the boy, the pit, and Joseph's dream. Down in chains in Pharaoh's land, he worked with faith and steady hands. Though slander came and lies were spread, he kept his heart on God instead. In the silence of the prison stone, dreams still whispered when left alone. Forgotten by men but not by grace, a plan unfolding in that place. From the prison to the throne, God was with him all along. Though the path was steep and slow, the seed of purpose still did grow. He rose through fire, through storm, through strife, into the palace with heaven's light. Then Pharaoh dreamed a troubled night, and none could see or speak it right. But Joseph stood with truth and peace, and gave the word that brought release. 7 years of feast and pain, he held the keys through drought and grain. With wisdom not his own to claim, he wore From the prison to the throne, not by might but grace alone. He bore the scars, he paid the price to shine with favor in God's eyes. He rose to serve, not take delight. A prince of Egypt in the light. Sometimes the path you fear the most leads to the place where you're needed close. And every tear the night may hold is shaping crowns not made of gold. So when the waiting breaks your will, remember Joseph climbing still. From broken dreams to morning bright, he rose with God into the light. They stood before him, bowed and low, not knowing who they'd come to know. Years had passed, their guilt still burned for silver coins and trust they spurned. Joseph's eyes were filled with tears for all the pain, the lost years. He saw the fear behind their face and answered not with wrath but grace. What you meant for harm, God turned to good. I see the story now I never understood. Though you broke me down, He built me whole, with mercy written on my soul. Don't be afraid, lay down your arms. What you meant for harm became God's charm. He drew them close, no blame remained. No need to carry guilt or shame. The famine brought you to this place, but heaven wrote it with saving grace. From prison walls to Egypt's throne, He'd walk the path of pain alone. But in that room with tears that fell, He saw that God had led it well. What you meant for harm, God turned to light. He used the dark to birth what's right. Every wound became a door to feed the world and love you more. So dry your eyes, no more alarm. What you meant for harm, He used to disarm. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's the strength to break the chain, to see the hand of heaven in the shadow of the pain. So if you're standing where I stood, just know that sorrow can birth good. I am living proof, calm in the storm, that what was meant for harm can still transform. Calm.